What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to today's video. We are fixing to check and see if this motor is actually worth a crap. So, if you didn't follow along with the build, this is the engine that used to be in this car a couple of years ago. It kind of sat around. We took it apart. We won the lottery. It was actually in good shape. Put some fresh i-rotary apex seals in it, resurfaced the housings, and that's all we changed. We just did that, put it back together. Soft seals, oil control rings, etc., etc. We're going to compression test it and see if the resurfaced housings and fresh apex seals on first startup, see what their compression makes. Now, if you've watched me compression test video or compression test cars before, you know that I have a bell housing. I can do it on the stand. However, right now, all of my starters are currently installed in cars, and I do not have a starter here to do that. So I made the decision that this engine was probably good and the compression was going to be good, and I'm confident that it is. So I put it in the car because I'm going to fill it up with oil, finish up some stuff, fill it up with oil, and then I'm going to put the starter for this car in the car, and then we'll compression test it. I won't put the upper intake manifold on. It won't have coolant in it for the compression test, but we need to get oil in it. It'll be a good way to prime the oil system and make sure that all that stuff's, we don't have any oil leaks, we don't have any whatever. But I'm excited to see the numbers. I hope you guys are excited to see the numbers. And I saw in your comments, you guys are asking questions about the resurfacing process, like what do you do, how long, this, that, and the other. I will make a video going through that process with Charles. We'll head over there. We'll do it and take the time and make you guys a nice video explaining that process. And then in addition to that, the reason I didn't do the video and make the last video about that is because I'm going to take this set of housings, which was torched. Okay, they're in really bad shape. I'm going to take a set of housings I have up here, some 12A stuff that I've been hoarding that's like really good, maybe too good. We'll also take some parts down here that I have, 13B stuff. And I want to take a slew of housings with me, okay, varying condition, and then also some that I know are junk. And we're going to see if we can ruin them on the thing. We're also going to see if we can, like how much does it take. I want to give you guys measurable data as far as how long, what grit sandpaper we're using, and what we look for when we're resurfacing them, because I think that makes that video have a lot of value to somebody who is thinking about doing that to their housings. They need to understand that process, understand how to look at their housings and know if that can be done or not. So that's why I didn't do it at the beginning of that, but I did want to show you guys that it is possible. And this engine is the perfect test because we are going to be taking it back out of this car shortly after Deal's Gap, or maybe after the summer. And I will be able to not only monitor the housings and the apex seal wear, I will be able to monitor what premix we're running in this, how much we're running in it, and kind of just keep a real close eye on it. Because I built the engine, I know the condition of it, and I know we're taking it apart because we're going to build a better engine. So it's kind of a cool little test mule here to test some things, and I am stoked to try it. So let's get to setting up the compression tester. I'll get to finishing this stuff up. We'll get oil in this thing, and we'll get this thing cranking. Okay guys, moment of truth. Albeit it looks like I just filled the car up with oil on video. I promise you, it has been a long process of a little bit of work. So what did I do to get us to this point? As you can see, the upper intake manifold is still off. All of our injectors, sensors, all hooked up. Oil lines are hooked up. Coolant hoses are hooked up. The turb ski is mounted, bolted down. Feed line, drain line, hooked up. We've got the upper intake manifold off with this thing. I pulled the tape off. One of the compression tester things you're supposed to do is hold the throttle pedal wide open. Sometimes I don't do that. I haven't noticed an excessive difference in compression doing it one way or the other, but we've got the tape off just so it can effectively draw air in. Main pulley belt is on, alternator is on. Let me tell you, for the record, guys, whatever brand, whatever thing this oil fill neck is, it's a mess. I hate it. It overflowed twice. I think the baffling on the inside might be too aggressive for how I was pouring, or maybe how I was pouring was too aggressive for the baffling. Either way, it overflowed and made a mess of my clean engine, and I had to get down in here in the front and like clean the... It looked like it had oil leaks. We hadn't even ran the thing because I just poured oil on the engine. Anyways, all that stuff is hooked up. You heard me bump the starter. I've got the compression tester hooked up. Both trailing plugs removed. The ignition stuff's not in the car, so it is probably trying to put fuel in there, but I mean, not a big deal. It's not like it's going to start, doesn't have plugs in it. So we should be good in that regard. We've got our rotary compression tester hooked up. So let's see what we got. Remember, this engine has resurfaced housings and fresh i-rotary apex seals. All those are brand new. But all of the rest of the rotor seals are what was in it before. Oh yeah! So we got cycle 109, 96, 90, 118, 104, 100. So a little bit of variation, but not too bad. Let's crank it again. Boom. 100, 96, 90. It's scraping away all the grease I have on the inside of it. See all my grease going away? 90, 90, 90. Not bad. Not bad. Mid to low 80s. Okay, dog's going crazy. We are 80s now. Let's see if it just keeps going down. Still in the 80s. I can see a lot of fuel coming out of this, so it's probably washing the seals down pretty good, which is not abnormal, but the back housing of the turbo is spitting a little fuel. So I'm going to move it over to the front. Man, this stupid alarm thing that's broken on this that makes the window go it's just annoying. Yeah. So we got that. Doesn't look like we got any fuel leaks, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and swap this over to the front rotor. See how it does. Okay. We're on the front rotor now. We're going to turn the horrendous beat back on. And let's see what we get. Front rotor. I did pull the EGI fuse, so it shouldn't dump any additional fuel. So we have equal fuel dumpage on the front and rear. $90, $90, $80. Not bad. Not bad. Low to mid 80s. It's going to be low to mid 80s again. Low to mid 80s. So we got stabilized numbers on the front and rear rotor for a fully clean, brand new engine, never been started, right? With the i-rotary apex seals and resurfaced housings, and we reused all of the other ones. And I didn't compression test this engine before I took it apart, so I don't know what it was making before. But upon visual inspection, also making sure that my side seal tolerances were not overly large. We're good. I'm content with that. Is you got to think that the apex seal bedding into the housing is only going to make more compression, especially if these i-rotary seals dig in like they did in the previous motor. We're going to run more premix in this engine than what we were running before. So we're running 1 ounce per gallon before. We're going to bump that up to like 1.25 ounces, probably 1.5 ounces, and just see how it goes. Knowing that we just built this engine, it's not going to be in the car for, I say it's not going to be in the car for super long. It'll probably be in the car most of the year. and then we'll take it out at the end of the year once the other engine's completely done and ready to go, and the turbo kit stuff is here, and the engine management is here. But I'm happy with that, and I would think that any of you guys would be happy with that as well. You know, the compression will only go up from there. It's got to break in, and you'll be good. Obviously, the side parts of the engine are already broken in, but the main apex seals and housings are fresh, and I'm excited for that. So hopefully that's the results you guys wanted to see. I mean, I was hoping that's about average, mid-80s. It's cold. Hot start will be right in the high to low 80 or high 70s, low 80s. And as y'all saw before with the half Bridgeport engine that had one down face and was only like 70s compression, it's still going to start. So we'll let it bed in, and we'll let it get a lot better, and it should be good to go. And the other thing to think of too is that this is also an REW. It is turbo, so it is a little bit lower compression than some of the NA stuff. So this engine has been rebuilt. This is the third time. So not really expecting it to be excessively fantastic. And I'm excited because there's a brand new Mazda engine in that box, and you can bet your dang butts we're going to compression test that thing before I take it apart. We're going to see what a brand new Mazda engine gives us for compression, and that gives us a nice baseline to shoot for when we freshen it up and put it back together. So drop any questions in the comments below. We learned that these resurfaced housings and apex seals, I think, is the move. I'd bet if we wouldn't have resurfaced those, it would have been way worse compression. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. Also, I want to drop my Patreon. If you do have detailed questions, you have questions about your build, if you have very specific questions, feel free to comment them below. But if you want to make sure they get answered, I make a video every week for the patrons. And those guys ask me questions, and I answer them all in a video. And I can actually talk specifically to your question and give you the exact answer that you want, versus like sometimes in the comments, I don't want to type a super long, crazy message. So, with that, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. Go check out the Patreon. We love your support over there. And I'm excited. This thing, we're going to fire it up tomorrow. We got ignition coils to put on it, upper intake manifold, downpipe, intercooler, the rest of it, and she's ready to rip. So, thanks for watching. Keep it rad. We'll see you guys in the next one. Get stoked. Letty! Come here. Hey. Do you think that Mazda's engine is going to make good compression? Well then, Letty. I guess the brand new engine isn't going to make any compression, according to the dog. Got the rotary truck out here. I don't know if y'all can see these this fresh set of waffle wheels I dug out from behind the shop. They're getting freshened up for a little stew. Yes, little stew is on Steelies. We got to put the Steelies back on it. But it's not in my scope of work in the next 2 weeks to refinish a set of wheels. My goal is just to get the car going. So waffle wheels, you can pressure wash them, hit them with wheel cleaner, and they look fantastic. So that's what we're doing with those. New tires behind the hood. Going on those tomorrow so we can get that car running. The bonus section after the video. Peace, guys.